Well, isn't that a lovely sound to shoot a video with? It's cold out here, guys. I think I'm gonna shoot this one in the studio. Yeah, let's go in. Let's do this one inside. Much better. It's nasty out there. It's cold, raining. Well, it rained all night. It is a mushy, nasty, murky, cold ass mess outside. I thought about flying around and telling you this story, but I realized that my face would be so cold and miserable that I'd probably forget most of the story. I may forget most of it anyway. I wanted to take this video and just sort of give a background. Who am I? Who is Kylo? I saw that the subscriber count had ticked a bit over 6,000 and something, 6,000 and change. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that this YouTube channel would get more than like a couple of hundred people watching it. It just never really dawned on me that that would happen. So I thought I would take this moment to give kind of a brief synopsis. A lot of you just kind of subscribed because you probably saw the last few videos and you're like, who's this guy? Okay, maybe he's cool, maybe he's not. We'll see. Well, my name's Kylo. That's what my daddy calls me. My legal name is Kyle Oakley, the channel name, if you will. I've done some videos in the past, like answer some questions about, you know, the history of the channel. It started as a gun channel. Used to be a shooter guy. I'd run around and running gun stuff, and I would video the shooting, and we used the YouTube platform to share those videos between fellow shooters so that we could critique each other and gain a little competitive advantage. We did shoot games. That's kind of where the channel was born. So I was born and raised in North Louisiana. This has always been home. I always wanted to fly. Motorcycles kind of held the edge off through my childhood. I was able to ride the two-wheelers. That kind of gave me the sense of flying, you know, that carving, leaning to turn, you know, all that kind of felt natural. So the motorcycles were really nice. I learned to ride the motorcycle before training wheels came off my bicycle. I knew how to shift the gears, do the clutch, manual transmission, all that. The day after the training wheels came off, I got on the motorcycle. After that, game over. I was invincible. Nothing could stop me. Until I crashed the thing a few times. Then I realized, like, I should probably slow down. I figured out what inertia was pretty quickly, and so that sort of put a slow in my roll, if you will. I really never had this speed demon mentality, which I think is what drew me to paragliders, was the slowness of them. I really enjoyed that. But I always wanted to fly. There was never a moment that I can remember when I wasn't staring up at an airplane or a helicopter and wishing that I was up there doing it. You know, oddly enough, every decision that I made in my younger life was to get to where I'm at here today in my older life. Let's face it, I am older now. I got gray in my beard. Finally kind of hit that level that I always wanted to get to, you know? I feel like I've arrived, so there's that. Now, if I could just kick around for a few more years, I'll probably have it all and could die happy. What were the things that I did? Well, I knew I needed to go to school. Now, let's go back a little further. Let's go back to my mom, my dad. They split up when I was about 16, but basically I was raised by then, and they did a pretty good job of raising me, I guess. My dad was a pharmacist, owned a local pharmacy in town. We were squarely upper middle class as far as growing up. I wasn't totally ruined by riches and the spoils of wealth. It was a good life growing up, better than what a lot of people get in this world. And I never thought about it any other way. I always knew that I had a little more. I was fine with that. You know, you don't get to pick your childhood. You don't get to pick your parents. I never judged anybody based on what they had. That just was always wrong, and it always will be. Don't you do it. I was blessed. I had a whole family. I had a little brother. You know, I was never of the mindset of, I'm gonna get everything that I can out of this. I don't know. I always wanted to work for my own goals. It turned out that I had like a little bit of ability to learn things. That's sort of my thing, is I can learn things really well. That's just how I've always been. I always made good grades in school. I could take the classes and take the test, and most of the time in high school I didn't have to do homework, which really backfired a few times because I didn't make high marks because I didn't do homework, because I knew the material. That was an interesting caveat. My dad always said, you know, if we could just get Kyle to college, he's gonna do fine. And sure enough, when I got to college, I did fine. I made like the high list, the upper echelon high marks, I guess. I don't know. I just learned the material. And when I went to college, you know, I've always focused on whatever the task at hand was. You know, if it was making the grades, I made the grades. But there was always a goal. There was always a goal to fly. Even during my college years, I remember going out to the airport and staring through the fence at the airport and like just wondering, you know, how do I get on the other side of this fence? How do I get up there and fly around one of these contraptions? Because, you know, I'm a human. I got to have a contraption to fly. It's just the way of it. I said, you know, if I work hard and I get a degree and I get a job and I save some money, then I'll be able to afford to do this, because it does take some money to do it. And they don't give these things away unless you're a wounded veteran and you get in with Resurgence PPG, which is my new favorite charity. Yeah, Resurgence PPG helps out wounded veterans, whether it be physical or mental injuries, and helps them to get into the air, because let me tell you, flying is medicine. It is really, really good stuff. It has cured me. Flying has cured me. Whatever sort of mental illnesses that I may have or may not have, flying has fixed it. It has changed my life, and it changes anyone's life who really gets into it, I think. But back to the college years. I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart. We got pregnant, and then we got married. Have basically been happily ever after. No, nobody's ever happily ever after. Marriage is hard. You have to work toward it. Nothing's perfect except for, I don't know, maybe a good weather day. There's been a couple of good weather days. They were near perfect. But no, I got a good marriage. I got a good wife. I love Jennifer, period. And we have 2 children, 17, 12 years old. Lazy as I was back then, I guess. But college was interesting. I went in not knowing what I wanted to do. I didn't really have a goal. I certainly didn't have pharmacy in mind. But what happened was I discovered that I was very good at chemistry and I was very good at math. And those 2 things just sort of aligned with the sciences. Always fascinated by science, which led into other things, the study of physics and kinetic motion. There was just a lot of science that I took to become a pharmacist, which is what I am. That is my day job. I am a pharmacist. I own and run a pharmacy here in Spring Hill, Louisiana, the Mall Pharmacy. Shameless plug. Dad was a pharmacist, and he never pushed for me to do that. I think there was a misconception locally that because I did what he did, that was what he wanted me to do. And he never was like that. Dad always just wanted me to do something. He said, go learn something. Learn a trade that not just anybody can do off the street. You'll be one step ahead in life as far as the game goes. And that's about where I like to be. Here I am, upper middle class. I work. Most of my life is work and come home, and everything that I could squeeze in after that is flying. The flying addiction is deep in me, and it's, oh man, it's deep. It's gonna be there, I'm afraid, forever. It's special to me too, and just like I said, it's good medicine. Flying heals the soul, for sure. I'm certain of that. You know, in the back of my mind, even though I was focused on the task at hand at college, the back of my mind was, I've got to get this degree so I can get a job, so I can have money to, at that point, pay for the family's bills and get my flying fix in. And it wasn't very long after I got out of school. I worked, you know, paid off our first home. I guess it was maybe 4 or 5 years. I just worked, got the debts paid off, got free and clear of any sort of overhead as far as that goes. And then I took the extra money that I was earning and I put it towards flying. I learned to fly airplanes. I didn't even know the paramotors existed at that point. I was happy to just get in anything. So I flew airplanes for 5 years. Yeah, solid 5 years. I had almost 500 hours of airplane time. All different kinds of airplanes. I even flew a helicopter a couple times. Big ones, little ones. The little ones led me over to paragliding. And the paragliding was, it came along at just the right time. I was in a spot where we had just bought this new house. Well, it's a used house. Clearly used. This house is 1 year older than I am, and I've got gray hair, so there's a couple things falling loose on this house too. I can relate. But anyway, this is our dream home. It's out in the country. I got an airport in the front yard. I got a gun range in the backyard. Pond. Got some dogs. We're dog people. Cats don't survive very long around here because our dogs eat them. We tried cats, but they don't survive. I drink coffee every morning. I like coffee. What else? The YouTube channel. The YouTube channel was, well, I guess it was clearly influenced by my love of video making. Something that I used to do in my childhood back in the day. I liked making videos. We had this big camcorder that we used, and oh Lord, some of the videos we made, I mean, it was all like skit type stuff, you know, fake commercials, and just me and the neighborhood kids, we would make videos, and I always wanted to edit them. That was always my goal, was to edit the videos. Didn't even have a clue. I mean, it was a VHS tape. Our editing was the start and the stop button on the recorder. Anything outside of that was just way over my league. But here it is, modern day, we can edit on a laptop, make videos just like this one here. I've got a green screen. I didn't know what a green screen was until just a few years back, but now I'm doing video editing with one, so that's pretty cool. I enjoy making the videos, and the fact that I had fallen in love with flying and was full-on para-addict at that point, I decided to combine the two. And of course there was Mr. Tucker Gott, who was an inspiration to do para-vlogging, which I didn't know vlogging was a thing, so I decided to pick that up. Shoot, man, I was a Tucker fan back before he was as huge as he is. What he have, like a few hundred subscribers? I think I jumped on board the paramotor YouTube wagon back then. It was just basically Tucker. He was the one doing it. Yeah, he was sort of the inspiration for me to give it a try. And my goals may have been different than others, I'm not sure. I just wanted to present myself, you know, just a genuine snapshot into my life and my lifestyle of paramotoring and working and living. And the free flight came along at almost the same time as the paramotoring, but I didn't include that in the videos, just some snippets here and there. I've done a lot more free flying than anybody has ever seen online. This year I'm doing it a little different. This year I'm going to share the free flight experiences that I have. I'm going to try to vlog at least most of them. I still may do a flight or 2 or 10 or 20 without the cameras on, because it is something that truly takes my heart and puts me in a good place. Videoing is almost a distraction from the flying, but I'm good enough at flying now that I believe I could take on an extra distraction and still do some okay flying. That's just, you know, the revolution of what's happened. I'm also a teacher. I teach people to fly paramotors. We do tow operations and ground school. I got to throw in a plug for that too. If you're interested in training, I've got training slots available for the summer. So we're going to crank up the school full speed after the time change ticks by. So there's that. That's really the short and dirty version of it. I just wanted to kind of give a synopsis on who I am, where I came from, where I'm at. Yeah. Hey, that's the skinny of it. I just wanted to include just a short little blurb about that. I don't know how short this is. I've been talking for a few minutes. That's who I am. If you have any further questions or want any more detailed explanations about who or what I am, post here down below. Much love, everybody. Kyle out.